Welcome back to Ride JBI. This is JB. Today we finished a JBI suspension shock revalve on a 2023 Honda CRF250R. This was set up to the JBI suspension motocross spec. This shock is being matched to the front forks, which feature the JBI Suspension Pro fork setup. This bike had about 40 hours of ride time on it already, so the shock also received some new wear items as well during the revalve process. One of those is the shock bumper, which was replaced with the JBI suspension shock bumper. As you can see here, it is black in color instead of the yellowish gray foam color they often are. The JBI suspension black bumpers are the same PUR foam material, but with a small rubber additive which gives the bumper this black appearance. It helps the bumper not to absorb nearly as much moisture and gives it better UV protection so the bumper does not get hard over time nearly as quick as the OEM bumper. And they're cheaper in price than the OEM bumper. These can be purchased individually at ridejbi.com. This version of the Showa 16mm and 50mm piston shock first came out in 2021 on the Honda CRF250R. Some of the upgrades were the larger compression adjuster. It is larger in diameter, meaning the damping piston that is part of this compression adjuster assembly is larger in diameter as well. The nitrogen reservoir was relocated farther up on the shock body. This piece used to be more located down in this region on the shock body. Also, a bleed port was attached, so it is much easier to bleed these shocks on our vacuum machine. Very nice upgrades from Honda, specifically the bleed port and the larger compression adjuster. The location of the nitrogen cylinder isn't really something that affects, let's say, the performance of the shock, but it seems it was more done to so they could match it to the new design of the subframe and frame on the 2021 CRF 450R at the time. Anyhow, this is a really good shock. It responds really well to revalves and modifications, and it can be set up for a variety of different types of riding. This one was set up for motocross, but we have a lot of settings also for off-road riding of all types, free riding, and supercross and ramps. If you are doing the stiffer type of riding, meaning ramps or FMX and supercross, we recommend going with the upgraded 18mm shock shaft, which we carry in stock. It is a new shaft assembly. Not only is it stronger than the 16mm shock shaft, but it displaces much more fluid volume through your compression adjuster. That shock shaft, the 18mm, is a bit overkill for the majority of motocross and off-road riders. The 16mm is more than enough. All JBI suspension services and parts can be found at ridejbi.com.